Welcome back. And now it's time for our press review. We are going to take a look at the main headlines of our Egyptian dailies. Just first, allow me to welcome my guest for today, Mr. Mustafa Rida. And actually, it's a pleasure to have you with us today, political and economic analyst. Thank you very much for joining us. Right, let me start by taking a look at Al Ahram newspaper and starting with the banner of Al Ahram. Egypt condemned in a statement released by the Foreign Ministry the attack launched by Daesh terrorist group that targeted a military hospital in Kabul. 76 were injured and 49 killed in the attack. The Foreign Ministry spokesperson said that Egypt totally supports the Afghans, and he called on the international community to exert efforts to combat terrorism. Right, so Mustafa, talking about terrorism, and again, just as we can see, it's taking place now everywhere.
Right, yes, and I don't know if you remember, since a long time ago, the President Sisi warned the international community, and again, no one took the matter seriously. Now things are escalating, you see.
And they are not differentiating between civilians or militants or hospitals or schools.
Nothing, you see. Remember, look what is happening in Syria now. A lot of old people, children being killed every day. If you open the news every day, you in Iraq and in Syria, every day old people are dying. And in Yemen, the situation, I don't know if you saw the report, we have 500,000 infants which are suffering from hunger, you see. That's the United Nations. There have been a report, you see, on the BBC, since the Arabic BBC channel. They have been publishing something of that sort. It's a really drastic situation, you know, because it came to, even the United Nations said that the situation in Yemen, we have 500,000 children, babies, that are suffering from hunger, and they are not having the basic needs, and the health care now is disastrous there. You see, so a lot of people, innocent people. Right. It's not only bombing, you know. It's the side effects of the war itself that you can see that have an indirect impact on innocent people, just as you mentioned. You see.
Moving on to Al Ahram and or Al Masri newspaper. And Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry said that Egypt adopted a new policy after revolution to bolster bilateral ties with African neighbors under the umbrella of the African Union. The minister made the remarks during a meeting with the delegation of journalists and media men who attended a workshop on the future of media in the continent during the period from the 27th of February till the 13th of March. The workshop was organized by the Egyptian Agency of Partnership for Development under the theme The Future of Media in Africa and the exchange of different experiences. I think this is also something that is really important. We've been talking also about the role of media and how we can work more on this, because definitely we have seen how media played a pivotal role during the past few years. Not only actually the media in general, but talking also the social media, even if this is not included.
This is true. You see, I don't know if you saw the interview of Dr. Boutros Ghali, you see, the ex-finance minister. He mentioned something very, very important. You see, he said about the people are complaining we don't have tourism and all that. He said that there's no communication, there's no they do not we do not give a real idea outside what's getting in Egypt, because there are other forces that are saying that if you go there, if you go to Egypt, you're going to be killed. You see, so a lot of people are afraid. It's normal. So he suggested that we hire an international advertising agency, publication, you see, as you just mentioned now, a professional organization that is going to give the reality, what is going on in Egypt in order. So you see, you mentioned a very, very important point. You see, it's the communication, the mass media. Unfortunately, until now, still we didn't. The role of when I'm talking about media, I'm not talking about only television. You see, I'm talking about newspapers. I'm talking about delegations going abroad. You see, talking. You see, explaining the situation, what's going on. Unfortunately, still these efforts didn't take the real shape that we want to have it at the same time, you see.
Right, moving on to Al-Watan newspaper. Interior Ministry Magdi Abdel Ghaffar, Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry, and Armed Forces Chief of Staff Mahmoud Higazi attended the annual ceremony of African security cadres. During the ceremony held at the Egyptian Police Academy, Abdel Ghaffar said that he is keen on developing education and training at the academy through using up-to-date technology. He went on to explain that this would encourage African security cadres to attend training sessions at the academy to hone their skills. He highlighted the importance of regional and international cooperation to realize security and confront crime and terror. From 2015 up till now, 1,959 trainees from 41 African states attended 68 training sessions at the academy. How would you read this?
Certainly, this is a very, very important activity that is taking place here in Egypt, and it's a sort of cementing again the cooperations, not only in the economic side between the African continent and Egypt, you see, which, as I don't know if you remember, we've been neglecting during the past era the relations with Africa. You see, now the relations are not talking only about the economic side. You see, we're talking about the training on the security, about providing cooperation to African continents in the field of, just mentioned, in military and security areas, you see, and military training, which is evidenced here by what you just mentioned now.
On back talking about terrorist attacks that are taking place, actually, again from Al-Yom Al-Saba, a North Sinai police colonel was killed in a bomb attack on a security checkpoint in North Sinai, Egypt's Interior Ministry announced. Colonel Yasser al-Hadidi was killed when a bomb exploded near his patrol in Arish in the vicinity of the city's 3rd police station, and 3 other policemen were also injured in the attack. And I think still things are going on over there.
Yes, still.
And it will take time.
Right. Yes. Sure.
And maybe they are always keen to do this in certain different at a certain period of time, because you are celebrating the Day of Martyrs, for example, or when there is something going on in the country. They are always keen to make something just to trigger.
Yes, to you see a black point. You see, you're celebrating something good. We're going to spoil this day for you. You see, this is the way projecting negative things, you see.
But actually, it's on the contrary, because after we have seen how the family of these martyrs yesterday, they were talking and they are ready to give more and more, and this is something that is motivating them to fight, to prevent what is going on here. I think this is something, yes.
Yes, agree. Yes,
moving on to Al-Ahram newspaper. The Egyptian benchmark EGX30 index of the Egyptian exchange rose on Thursday's close by 0.93%, or 117.91 points to the level of 12,853.27 points, its highest level in a month. And similarly, EGX70, EGX100, and EGX50 indices grew by 1.8%, 0.85%, and 1.24% respectively. How do you read this? I know you always like to comment on the stock market.
You see, again, the stock market, you see, that doesn't relate actually to what's going in the economy. I would like to focus that very important. It doesn't mean if we should be very, very careful when we see that the stock market is going up. It doesn't mean that we're doing well, you know. It is hot money coming in and out. It's related very much to the exchange rate, you see, between the Egyptian pound and the dollar, you see. So probably there has been changes these days in fluctuations in the currency, you see, change rates. So probably this encourages a lot of people, again, to go in and out, you see, the market. So that's the point you see about this stock market. It's very volatile and it's very turbulent, actually, and it's very risky because, you see, I studied finance, but I don't have any experience. This is a line, you see, that you have to be very, very professional in, and I don't know anything about it, you see, so that's why I won't put my money there, you see, and I advise people that if they think they're going to make money out of it, you see, they should be very cautious because it's not easy. You might lose all your money. You see, it's very, very important to take care, you see, of this, because a lot of people hear that you can make millions and all that, so it's really, it's very, very important to get someone which is professional to deal with these things, an expert in finance, you see, in the stock markets.
Right from Akhbar al-Yom newspaper. Minister of Investment and International Cooperation announced on Thursday that Egypt has been chosen as the vice head of the World Bank Board of Governors for Africans for the year 2017. According to a statement by Minister Sahar Nasri, the new position paves the way for Egypt to head the board in 2018. The board is now headed by Benin. Nasr said the position places Egypt at the core of the ongoing international commercial discussions over the means of enhancing the role of international financial institutions topped by the WB, while facing challenges like poverty, enhancing the standard of living for lower income groups, and enhancing the private sector's role in the society. We have been talking about this, but I think, how far can Egypt take benefit out of this?
I'll tell you. This is certainly a major achievement. You see that it's exactly, it is equivalent to our success in going to the Security Council, having a chair there in the Security Council without the right to vote, you know, in the Security Council, the UN. I don't know if you are aware that we had several senior Egyptian officials which were represented in these two international organizations, the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. We have at present Dr. Hazmi al-Biblawi, which used to be the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister. He's working with Mrs. Lagarde. He's reporting to her as an Executive Director of the IMF. Number two, we have Dr. Mahmoud Muhyiddin, the ex-investment Minister, and he's in the World Bank since 2010, October 2010, and doing a very, very good job, you see. Also, we had Dr. Yusuf Boutros-Ghali, who used to be on the board of the Financial Committee of the IMF. So this is really, it gives a sound that Egypt has, it gives a sound that we have a voice there in these organizations, that we have presence, you see.
A step forward.
Exactly. So we're having these officials, you see, these are prominent names and people which have extracurricular records, you see. It shows that we have a domain, you see, we'll have a voice there. We can probably direct things, you see, as Egypt, and give a positive momentum, which will be a win-win situation. Egypt is going to benefit certainly from this.
Right, and finally from Akhbar al-Yom, the UK Embassy announced on Thursday in an official press release that Minister of Investment and International Cooperation Sahar Nasr and British Ambassador to Cairo John Casson signed a joint declaration of intent paving the road for a UK loan guarantee of $150 million to help Egypt implement its economic program. Your final comment.
Really, again, I'd like to be very cautious. This is a very good point you mentioned, Nasha, and I'm glad that you put this on the news, because really I would like to be very cautious about taking loans, you see. The point is, I don't know if you're aware that the President even stressed very much that if you take a loan, we have to have a system or a study that there's the payback period, that we're not going to take loans and go into an unknown situation that we're going to be burdened with interest and that. So the point is, taking the money is fine, but the question is, do we have a plan to invest these $150 million that we're going to get a return that probably, if we take these with the interest, probably will be there'll be a benefit.
It's always about the allocation.
Cost-benefit analysis, you see, allocation, and are we going to use these resources efficiently or not, you see? Because borrowing is very easy, but using the funds is very, very important, you see, in order not to place burdens on future generations.
Right, Mr. Mustafa Reda, thank you very much for joining us. And still, we have more to bring you on our breakfast show. So stay tuned, we will be back right after this short break.